Welcome back to Sports Unfiltered. You are listening live on WICR, the voice of Iona College. And for the first time ever, this show has promo to do. So, Matt, go ahead.
All right. Hey, everyone. This Wednesday, October 9th, tonight, the Council of Greek Governance is presenting this year's Box City event, which we hosted from 9 p.m. Until 12 a.m. tonight. After this, at this time, the campus minister, Carly Branyard, will take over the event and we'll go to much later detail in tonight. Stop by to raise awareness and end the stigma surrounding the homeless population of the world. All right, back into our sports talk. Jake, take it away.
And if you remember last week, guys, AEW versus WWE was a big story. Wednesday night, it was the first episode of both. We had Dom Arbolino call in, former member of Sports Unfiltered. Well, this week, we got the other former member of Sports Unfiltered. You all know him, Joe Sorrentino. He's now hosting a podcast called The Leviathan, all about politics and his views and a lot of jokes and conspiracies there, but he enjoys doing it. People enjoy listening. He's getting a lot of viewers doing that. So,
thank you.
What's up, Joe?
What's up? How are you?
So, every single time I've turned on a show on ESPN or Fox Sports today, the same story has led, and I don't know anything about it. And I figured you know a lot about politics. You've moved on to politics from sports. So, I want to know what's going on. What is going on with the NBA and China, and why is the relationship strained at the moment?
Okay, so China and the NBA actually have a very good relationship. The problem is the owners in the NBA have morals. So they are realizing what is going on in Hong Kong. They're realizing what China is doing to the Uyghur Muslims that are in their country. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but the Chinese government is putting Muslims in concentration camps and harvesting their organs. Now, the owner, an owner of a team named, I believe his name was Daryl Morey, spoke out against this and said that, it's probably not good for a government to be harvesting people's organs against their will. So, you know what Adam Silver did? Considering his God is money, he snapped at the owner of the team or the GM of a team, and he said, no, you can't say that, and you're going to have to apologize for your statement. You're being insensitive. Now, because of Adam Silver's statement, the people in Hong Kong who are actively rioting for a democratic process in their country are speaking out against the NBA. They're extremely angered by what what Adam Silver did in response to Morey, and in reality, what has been going around the league being anti-China. The general consensus is anti-China is a good thing, honestly, because of what China's doing to the innocent Muslims that are living in their country.
But, Joe, this is probably an issue a lot of the people in the NBA don't even know anything about. So when they're asked about it, they must be very uncomfortable in these interviews, correct?
Yes. Steph Curry just recently, Steve Kerr did an interview. I'll start off with him first, where he said he had no comment. But it's really interesting to see that because Steve Kerr has a comment about pretty much every single thing in politics. It's really interesting to see that he wouldn't comment on something like this when honestly it's probably going to affect the bottom line. It would affect his paycheck. So he figures if it's going to affect my pocket, I don't care about the people who are being killed and used for organ harvesting in China. So it's an interesting prospect for Steve Kerr. And an even bigger thing is Steph Curry was asked about it, and Steph Curry said that we should work on gun control and we should work on gender equality. Now, what does that have to do?
It has nothing to do with the issue, yeah.
Yeah, what does that have to do with people being killed in China and their organs being harvested? What does it have to do with the Chinese government trying to feed people fetuses of aborted children? What does that have to do with anything?
Well, Joe, as far as Adam Silver and the NBA's pockets, how much money do you think they'll lose from all this coming out?
Well, considering there was just a Chinese businessman who bought the Brooklyn Nets, I feel like it'd probably be a lot of money that they would lose. But the problem is, it's really not about money when people are dying. If you have no moral, upright nature in your human body, then you shouldn't be the leader of a league. in
Well,
the first
I
place.
agree with you there, but when it comes to these organizations and these leagues, it's always going to be about the money.
Yeah, again, they spent like like the league has spent like millions of dollars just investing in China and to the league itself. So like I don't know, it's a toss up for me when it comes to these kind of things.
Yeah, it's my this is how I feel about it. If in America there was any religious population in concentration camps, right? And their organs were being harvested, I think Adam Silver would be more than willing to speak out against something like that. If you remember, he took the All-Star game out of Charlotte because of a transgender bathroom law.
Yeah.
I don't know if a lot of people remember that, but he did move the All-Star game, and it's funny that I mean that law doesn't affect the lives of people. It doesn't kill people per se. So it's ironic that he is bending over backwards to work with a country that is actively killing people in their own country, especially the Mongol Muslim population in their country is being taken advantage of and killed. It's a little scary.
Do you think there's a chance the NBA could possibly lose China as a destination for NBA games?
Yes, because the Chinese government's not going to be happy with how they're acting, and to be quite frank, I don't think there's going to be a lot of GMs that support their process of blindly supporting a country simply for making more money.
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to happen that way. So.
Yeah, I'm also reading an article from CNN saying that China makes up. So I'm reading it. Quote: China makes up at least 10% of the league's current revenue, according to an analyst. Now, it is expecting to reach 20% by the year of 2030. So that's going to be a big loss, especially for the NBA.
Yeah, but then again, it comes down to morality. So if they really think that the bottom line in the league is money, then they should stop working on social justice issues in America, because the reality is they're losing money working on social justice issues in America.
Exactly.
But they're making a lot of money off of the social justice issues that are happening in China. You can't. It's about taking the log out of your eye before you take the speck out of someone else's. And it's funny how you have players dictating what people should believe, when in reality, those people are also, because it would affect their pockets, they are keeping their mouths shut about people literally being killed. It's a crazy situation in my eyes.
Do you know offhand how many games have been canceled? Because I'm not exactly sure that number, but I know it's a lot for it to be talked about like this.
I'm not quite sure how many games have been canceled. I mean, I've been more in tune with the political end of this.
Yeah, of course.
What Adam Silver has to say. So, but I'm interested because it's going to affect their fan base in America. They're going to lose more revenue in America than they could conceivably imagine for this move. So, I mean, especially when when players are going in front of the media and making themselves look like fools.
Well, it's definitely a topic I'm going to have to go research myself, because it seems really important, and I wish I knew more about it to kind of get into this with you.
Yeah, it's definitely a topic everybody should look into. It's an interesting thing, and it's a fiasco that really doesn't happen in sports very frequently.
Yeah.
So,
all right, Joe, I'm going to let you go because I know you have a lot of pizzas to deliver since you're working right now, calling in from your car. But thank you for that. That's a lot of really great insight we're going to work off of right now.
all right, thank you so much, Jake. Thanks for having me. Thanks, Matt.
All right, no problem.
All right, thank you, Joe. Have a good day.
You too.
All right, so Matt, obviously I'm not the biggest basketball fan in the world, so I want to get your opinion on everything you just heard from Joe.
So wow, I mean that's like unbelievable story, because like now all the I think most of the partners, if not all of them, for the Chinese partners for the NBA have now suspended their ties with the league ever since Monday. So now with that in mind, you lose a lot. First of all, you lose a lot of popularity in terms of the Chinese the relationship between China and the NBA. The morals of human life being taken like this is just absolutely unheard of. And then what the league has done in response to this is not enough. and they're gonna lose money because of this whole controversy. Adam Silver's like comments or whatever. It's not gonna really help that much unless someone takes action on it. Including with the amount of revenue that they're gonna lose, it's just gonna be a toss up in terms of publicity and the amount of people who's actually going to keep following the NBA and might have an even new perspective on it.
And this is the same league where last year they came out at the end of the season where they didn't even want to use the term owner anymore because the players were offended because it sounded like slave owner, and they said they're not slaves, they're players. Well, how many social issues can one league take on before people start losing interest? Because people that watch sports don't want to get into the politics of it. They want to just enjoy it. They want to use it as an escape from real life.
Absolutely. And you know that a lot of these sports, not even just the NBA, MLB, NFL, soccer, anything like that, they just want to enjoy the game. All these politics and all that kind of stuff, you don't want that. You don't want that kind of like controversy in like secretly going into
the same exact reason that NFL viewership was so down last year when all the kneeling was going on. You don't hear about it as much. You don't see it as much this year, and viewership is back up. Nobody wants politics in their sports. I'm not saying politics shouldn't be in sports, but once again, I'm saying it's an escape from the real world. You don't want to have to watch your escape have the real world in it, if you know what I'm saying.
Watch this be like a whole publicity stunt to just get the NBA promoted or something like that. But it's not going to be like that.
I wouldn't put that past Adam Silver, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, and especially this kind of caliber situation. You know what I mean? So, like with that being said, there has to be something done with this situation, especially with the relationship between China and the NBA.
And for all the people out there that want to hear just about basketball and not about the politics within it, well, we're going to do a lot about basketball next week when we get closer to the season. But as far as this week goes, that's basically what we're going to focus on because that's a major story right now, and we're still a week and a half away from the regular season. So there's no reason to get into our actual games just yet. This just happened to come out and had to get on the show today, because it's been a major story going around all these news broadcasts.
Now, just sidetracking real quick. The NBA fans are absolutely going insane after Ben Simmons hitting his first quote unquote 3-pointer.
First 3 in 4 years, I heard too.
Yeah, but since high school. So I mean, again, it was a preseason game. It doesn't really count, but everyone is going absolutely bonkers about him. I've seen every post on social media, SportsCenter, ESPN, Barstool. Everyone's making memes about Ben Simmons hitting his first 3-pointer. But that's just all I'm going to say about that in terms of the NBA so far now.
Well, that's a spoiler for next week. You're going to get a lot of that next week. NBA probably half the show or more. So I'm sure you're going to love that because you're going to lead that segment.
Absolutely.
I basically just sit here and listen to you when that comes on. But let's move on to football because we didn't talk about it last week. And Matt, the New York Giants did exactly what I thought they would do. Danny Dimes came in. He beat the Buccaneers. He came back from 18 down. Then he destroys the 0-4 Washington Redskins the following week. So everyone's like, Danny Dimes, Giants going to make the playoffs. Let's go. What happened against the Vikings when they played a real team?
Nothing.
They are not going to beat real football teams this year. The New York Giants are not ready to go anywhere. Daniel Jones might look good for the future, but the team still has no defense. They don't have Saquon Barkley right now, and they do not have the weapons for Daniel Jones to really thrive in this offense just yet.
Do you think Saquon Barkley is going to come back in time? I just don't know.
Well, Saquon Barkley's he's ruled out for Thursday night against the Patriots.
Oh boy.
Along with Evan Engram, Wayne Gallman also ruled out. Sterling Shepard ruled out. So that game over before it started.
Definitely.
And the Patriots demolished the Redskins over the weekend, obviously. Colt McCoy, my guy, threw for about 57 yards in the game. So Patriots just look like dynamite right now.
Definitely.
They're not giving up touchdowns on defense. Tom Brady looks as good as ever at the moment. And these weapons seem to just come out of nowhere. Philip Dorsett steps in for Antonio Brown. He's been amazing. So as far as the Giants go, once again, they're not going anywhere. Patriots, obviously a Super Bowl contender, probably will make the Super Bowl, especially since we just saw the Chiefs are very exploitable. They just lost. They haven't looked good in about 3 weeks now. So what's the biggest story going around the league in your eyes?
I think it's going to be, I want to see the Packers going into this game against the Lions tonight, on Monday. But, the toss up is going to be, how far can the Patriots and the, who is the other team that's undefeated right now?
The 49ers.
The 49ers.
Yeah, and they demolished the Browns on Monday night. A whole Richard Sherman, Baker Mayfield problem going on there about shaking hands. I don't even want to get into that. It's nonsense. Especially when they showed the footage and Baker Mayfield did, in fact, shake Richard Sherman's hand.
He
So
did.
who even cares?
I mean, honestly, but it's
You want to shake hands right now and make a story about it? Like, seriously. It's nonsense.
But no, I think it's gonna be who's gonna be the first team to take their first loss, honestly. But like that's like a big toss. That's like a huge.
I can honestly see the
speculation to me.
Patriots not losing it all this year.
Really, You
And
think
I
they'll be
said
one
I
and
thought the
16?
Chiefs were going to beat them earlier in the year, but the way the Chiefs have looked, even with Tyreek Hill coming back, I just don't see it. The Patriots look amazing.
I don't know. I think Pat Mahomes is just being on another level so far this season.
Well, Pat Mahomes is on one leg right now,
I mean, it's
and that's the biggest problem.
I know, but I'm just saying, like what he's done so far with the team. Man, this is absolutely stellar.
Well, he had an amazing throw last week when he escaped the pocket, threw like a 40-yard touchdown to Jeremy Pringle, or
Mhm.
whatever his name is, some new receiver that came out of nowhere.
Mhm.
But Pat Mahomes has not looked great the last 2 weeks. I think it's because of his leg injury. They've almost lost one. They did lose one. The Chiefs are very exploitable at the moment. New York Jets, on the other hand, finally, the real New York Jets offense will be playing this weekend with Sam Darnold coming back. Makes Robbie Anderson and Jameson Crowder fantasy value go up. Maybe Le'Veon Bell is not going to get tackled behind the line every single time. But then again, with that offensive line, you never know. I mean, every single play seems like a sack. Luke Falk could never get anything going. He's not a good NFL quarterback, obviously. Should not be in the league the way he played. But the offensive line did not do him any favors. Probably the worst line in football right now.
Well, now you guys are facing the Dallas Cowboys, so it's going to be even more of like a heap in the bush. So, like, I don't know, because
The Jets won't win this weekend, but they will at least look better with
Mhm.
Sam coming back. But again, with that offensive line, it really doesn't matter who the quarterback is. If Sam doesn't have time to throw, what's the difference?
yeah, honestly, too.
But Chris Herndon was supposed to come back from his 4-game suspension. He injured his hamstring in practice. So a team with no tight end finally getting that, I think, star tight end back, no longer getting him back. And the defense decimated. CJ Mosley, out. Quinnen Williams might be out. Jamal Adams has not looked good all season. It's just, obviously, Avery Williamson, who I've brought up before, he's got ruled out for the year in the preseason.
Mhm.
That defense is decimated. That offense is not going to do anything with that line. Yes, they'll look better with Sam, but this is not more than a 4-win team.
Yeah, definitely not. Obviously, but there is going to be a number 1 win in that column tonight for between the Redskins and the Dolphins. So both teams have just not been absolutely stellar these past few weeks. So obviously, Dolphins actually just completely shuttered, especially in their offense. Have not barely even scored a touchdown at all.
Those teams are going to be trying so hard to let the other team win on the other side. So it's going to be
Honestly.
tough to see who actually wins that. Maybe Colt McCoy will throw for 300 yards. Who
No,
knows?
honestly.
But I actually think the Dolphins win that game because the Redskins are a complete mess.
Mm-hmm.
Firing Jay Gruden, obviously. Dwayne Haskins, nobody wants him there. I don't even know if he's going to start. See,
I don't think so.
Case Keenum, Colt McCoy, they don't even know who's starting. So Sunday is going to be a mess for the Redskins and it's going to be a mess for the Dolphins too. Who's going to watch that game?
Yeah,
If
honestly.
you live in one of those markets, I feel bad for you because you're going to have to watch that on your TV.
Mm-hmm.
Ridiculous. But Matt, do you agree with what I said about the Giants before? Do you think they're a playoff team or no?
I don't think so either. I agree with you on that because obviously that. Wait, hold on. If Jones can even do anything here tonight on Thursday, it's not going to be. Look at their schedule for right now. They're facing for God's sakes, they're facing the Patriots tomorrow.
Well, against that New England defense, Daniel Jones is not going to be doing anything. They're going to scheme him very hard. Even on Thursday night when you don't have as many plays in the defensive playbook, Daniel Jones is not going to do anything. I'm sorry to say it, but that's going to Giants might not even score.
They may. I mean, the only thing I could say is like their matchup against the Cardinals, maybe. Even then.
No, they're going to win more games this year. They're going to beat the Cardinals. They're going to beat the Lions. They're going to beat the Jets. So that's 3 wins coming in the next 5 weeks. But the fact of the matter is, Daniel Jones is not ready to take on a team like the Patriots. Daniel Jones is not ready to take on a winning team, as we saw against the Vikings, who, by the way, Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs finally had good games after Kirk Cousins publicly came out, apologized to the 2 receivers, really just Adam Thielen. Thielen had a massive game. He's over 200 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns, so he was great. Stephon Diggs could still be playing better, but at least he got more work than he's seen all season. So, Matt, last question I'm going to ask you before we go is Minnesota Vikings. Do you think they're going to be a little bit happier now that Kirk Cousins is spreading the ball, or do you think they're still going to be requesting trades?
I mean, I think Kirk Cousins is a solid quarterback. I just don't know how far he's going to actually be in terms of this season, especially in the heap of the mix right now.
Well, Kirk Cousins is a guy I never wanted on the Jets, even when they wanted to sign him, and I'd still rather have Sam Darnold on that team than Kirk Cousins.
Mm-hmm.
But Kirk Cousins is way too reliant on his run game.
Hmm.
Dalvin Cook is getting way too many carries, and when he gets stuffed, they don't know what they're doing. They play a defense like the Giants, they're going to look okay, but when they play a winning team with a solid defense, I still don't think Minnesota is going to be a threat.
Yeah, and then I just hope he doesn't scramble too much, and then because he's gonna get pressurized. Trust me.
All right, so when we get back, we're going to talk about hockey. We're going to talk about college football. You were listening to Sports Unfiltered live on WSER, the voice of Iona College.